Okay, so very good afternoon to everyone. Welcome back to our today's session. So today is the third day of EPL that we are doing. So we know practical life skills are one of the foundational activities that we use in our Montessori classes, right? And whatever exercises that you develop or you design in EPL, it is basically to help your child to develop independence, concentration, coordination, and also a sense of responsibility. So this is something that we will have to keep in mind. So in today's class, we were going to see an overview of how these EPL is also further categorized into different areas. Previously, we saw about all the preliminary exercises wherein we learnt about rolling, unrolling, carrying a tray, carrying a mat, carrying a jug, opening a book, closing a book, carrying sharper objects, correct? And then pouring, then grasping, spooning, transferring. All these were preliminary exercises. From there is what we got into caring of oneself. So in today's exercise, we're going to see exclusively on how can you care for your own self. The exercises which helps the children to develop self-care skills. This is the second thing that we're going to do. So in that, the first one, what we're going to be working is anything which is related to water. Okay. So whenever you give certain exercises for children, which involves water. Now, say, suppose in case if I'm giving them 2 jugs, can the child pour the water without spilling the water? Okay. So this is related also to building independence, to build their fine motor skills. So it is about the self-care also. They should not spill the water on themselves. So again, it is helping me to work on that. The second thing what I can give them related to water is hand wash. Hand washing is again a technique which talks and teaches about hygiene. You have to teach children about hygiene. You have to teach them also the sequence of steps in hand wash. What are the sequences of steps that we actually work for hand wash? How do we work? What is the objective? Why should we do? Because see, the children should learn why the steps are important is when you don't teach them the correct sequence of steps for hand washing, sometimes the spread of germs cannot be prevented. So to avoid all of that, as a teacher, you will have to start collecting some material. Guys, are you with me? So you can
Yes.
note down what are the materials you have to take. First of all, you need to have a sink. And is it the child-sized sink? If you don't have the child-sized sink, you can even take a bowl of water. We need soap. It could be a liquid soap or it could be a bar soap. Okay. And then we need some towels. It could be a paper towel or a hand towel. Correct? And should I also put some posters in my classes which shows them the steps of hand washing? Now, this is optional for you. If you want, you can give it. If you don't want, it's okay. But I would advise give them the visual aids, like, open the tap, then again, wet your hands, take some soap. Okay, so put that visual aids. Then you should also give timer to children. How long should you wash your hands? Some children, even for a less than a second, they wash their hands. Some children wash it for a very longer period of time. So time is also required, right? So how do you prepare the materials is you will ensure first by collecting all these materials and you have to keep it within the easy reach of the child. Then you will start to demonstrate the process very slowly and clearly. Okay. Now, what are we emphasizing here? Importance of washing hands. When are we washing hands? Before meals, after meals. Correct? After using the toilet or after any outdoor activities or if you feel your hands are dirty. Okay. So these are the ones that we're going to be working on. Now, what again we have to work on? I have to use simple language. How do I say to children? Children, washing hands is very important. It keeps us healthy and it stops spreading germs. So can I also do a EVS experiment over here on germs? Yes. How do I do that? I take a bowl full of water. Please note down, you take a bowl full of water. You're going to sprinkle some pepper. Okay, pepper powder on that. Now this pepper powder is like germs. Now in another bowl, you have to take the dish soap. You can take a Q-tip, dip into the soap and gently place it on the water where you sprinkle the pepper. you will see the pepper will move out. So that again teaches for the children a science experiment of washing hands keeps the germs away. Okay, so these are the required steps that we can actually use it. So always make sure songs you can work, games you can do, repeat the lessons. I will not be saying over and again. Should I also do an assessment? Yes. How was your assessment? You observe if the child is following the steps. You observe if the child is using the soap effectively. You will also observe, is the child taking enough time to scrub properly? Are they drying their hands thoroughly? Right? So these has to be your observational parameters. And only then the teacher is going to say, yes, your child is now ready and he knows about taking care of himself and he is able to wash the hands by himself. Now, to support all of that, we need to go for a prepared exercise. So I'm going to show you how your washing hand exercise can generally be shown to each one of you. Okay, so what is the first thing that I need to have? I need to have a table and I prepare all my material onto it. And then I'm going to be sharing this particular exercise.
Today,
right? So take a look through
your hands. For this activity, we will need a basin, wiping cloth, lotion, a pitcher of water, hand towel, nail brush, and hand soap. We will also need a bucket. Now watch.
Sorry. Can you see or how is it?
I will get another picture.
We cannot see, ma'am. We are unable.
You're unable to see?
Now I'm ready to wash my hands.
Now, guys?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Now? What about now?
Yeah, now
Yeah, ma'am.
Now you can see. Okay. So these are the materials that you're going to be having. You're going to have some brush. You're going to have your dish soap. You need to have a tray. And then you need to have the pitcher full of water. Now, in this particular tub, we're going to be putting some clean water. Okay. This is a scenario wherein you will not have children using the wash basin. This is the first preparatory step. This is a for sure question. Everyone would get it. Okay, so all the materials will be set in your practical area. The only thing is like you got to be keeping everything ready. So you soak your hands deep into the water. Okay. And you're going to be using your soap. Take a look how long we do. We got to be cleaning our fingers, between our fingers, right? So this is something that we need to demonstrate to the child as well. So be very slow when you're trying to scrub or you're trying to, wash your hands. Nails are also essential. In case of nails are there, we need to do that. So teachers, you got to be really slow during your demonstration. And these are the steps that we follow. If you open your book also gives you the same instructions which talks about we using our exercises for washing our hands, right? So we have all of that. Now we're going to be rubbing and scrubbing both our fingernails onto the palms and once to the right hand, once to the left hand, correct? Now what you can do it, you are going to be repeating, you're going to rinse your hands and you begin the exercise to see if your hands are clean. So one part is done. Okay, so this is related to how you presented washing your hands. Now the second part is about scrubbing your nails or brushing your nails is also essential. Okay, so you could also work on the second step. Okay, so do you need an extra water drip for your fingertips? If you need it, you can use it. Do you need extra soap to clean your nails? If you feel it, you can take it. Okay, if you don't feel like, you don't have to do that. Repeat the same motions. Okay, make sure there is no lather that is left behind in your hands. Now completion is another important task. So this is done. So this water is dirty. So what you need to have, another bucket which has to be kept right next to you, and you're going to be taking off that dirty water. Now you can take again the clean water to complete your activity. Now what you can do again, clean your hands one more time. That would be the completion of your exercise. Okay, so now you're going to be wrapping it. How do I wrap it? I need to dry my hands. So you can take a dry towel, dry your hands, keep it back. Okay, that completes. Now what is the next thing? Look at the table. Don't you think that the table is also dirty? And the bin is also dirty? So you need to wipe. So there has to be two towels. One is for your hand, one is for the material to clean and wipe so that, it dries. This is all completing. So your hand needs to be dried with a drying cloth. And at the same time, you also give an opportunity for the child also to wipe it. Now take a look. The table needs to be dried. Now, what is the purpose of doing this exercise? Don't you think that we are caring for a child to give a sense of cleanliness? Very essential. Fold it back, give it. Now the dirty place has become clean, and even the dirty hands have become clean. So that is the purpose of this exercise. So when we are trying to prepare our lessons, based on these, we need to be taking a look and the care about all of that. Now go to your book. I don't know what is the page number. If somebody can open and see. Can you open and see?
43, ma'am. 43.
43? Okay, guys, 1 second. I'll just have to pick this call. Meanwhile, open your book. Are that. So now did you take a look by opening your book? Your book also talks about the same thing. What are the materials required? How are you going to be presenting this material? To prepare, what is the preparation? You got to put on the apron. Okay, very, very mandatory. Why? Because it's a water activity. Now, what if I'm wearing a full arm? I need to roll up my sleeve. These are the two things some of the times teachers do forget, but we need to be looking into this also. Okay, so put on the apron, roll up your sleeves. If you have any jewelry like rings, watches, bracelets, you have to remove them and you can keep a jewelry dish there. Put it over there. Now pick up a jug, fill it with 3/4 of the tap water and start. Okay, this is your first preparation. Now look at the presentation. You have set of instructions during your presentation. And once your presentation is done, you have to complete it so that, everything is clean and you keep it back. Why I have to do this particular exercise? Because I want to care about myself. I want to care about myself by giving a sense of cleanliness, right? So indirectly, I am teaching the child to work on their own. So they get the ability to work on their own so that if their hands are dirty, they know what to be done. Okay, so that is something which helps us to work on the point of interest, seeing the dirty hands become clean. And what could be the ages that we would be supporting? From 2 to 4 years or 2 to 5 years is what we can actually take. A wonderful exercise for all of us to actually begin with is washing hands. Clear, everyone? So that would be your first exercise in terms of taking care of oneself. The second exercise, dear friends, take a look. It is called the dressing frames. Now, in dressing frames, you have multiple dressing frames, right? What are the ones? You have buttons, then you have bow, then you have again small buttons, large buttons, then you have laces, then you have buckles, then you have bows, then you have hook and eye. These are all the different button frames, okay? Now, what we would be working is like, go to the Montessori lab, pick up the dressing frame. Now, the dressing frame can be a set of everything together, or it can be one by one. So, in case if I have to choose, okay, we would go with something which is very simple for the children at the beginning. So, you can choose any dressing frame at the beginning, okay? Now, say suppose in case if I have chosen the hook and the eye. Now, where do you find hooks basically? Most of our blouses, if you're a girl, if you're a female, most of your blouses might have hooks, correct? And how do you hook it? It has an eye and you have to hook it into that. So you can begin with the hooks. It can actually help the child, correct? Now, what is the process? You have to unhook, then you're going to be hooking. So this again helps the child to work on something very nice. It is related to the hand and eye coordination. Hooks will definitely help you. The next could be your buttons. Now, these buttons are called the snap buttons or the press buttons, correct? We call them as snaps or we call them the press buttons. This is second dressing frame. Similar to our hooks, we can also use button frames to our children. You're teaching them the skill of how to unbutton and how to button it. Now, my third one, which was slightly difficult for children, that's called your button frame. Okay. Now, again, the button will have an eye. Wherever there is a hole, we call this as eye in Montessori terminology. So, you need to unbutton and then you're going to be buttoning. So, this would be your process to finish this particular exercise. For you, it might seem simple, but for a 2-year, for a 3-year, it needs a lot of hand muscle control. Hand and eye coordination is very, very important. Okay. Why do we use this exercise? It's because the child can develop the hand and eye coordination. They're also taking care of themselves. And the activity can be given to children of 2 to 4 years of age. Okay. So that helps us to work on 3 of our skills. Now I might have even bows, right? So bows and laces are also a part of my EPL exercise. So I can pick up my dressing frame, which is in the format of bows. Now, where do you generally find bows? In case if I'm, braiding, I might tie a bow. Or if I'm gift wrapping, I might tie a bow also. So if you notice, did you notice that there are 2 colors? One is yellow, one is white. Always choose 2 colors. It helps the child to coordinate. And most of our dressing frames, we will have 2 colors. Now, what is the instruction is? You're going to do 1 instruction at a time. Whenever you're unbowing, it's 1 instruction at a time. Okay, so you finish this. You completely will not unbow it for the first one. Now, again, you will go back for the second one. You're just unbowing it. Okay, go to the third one. We do the same. Go to the fourth one. We do the same. Now is what you have to do is like to remove the knot. Okay, so we gently remove the knot and free it. Okay, what you can also do is you can insert your pointer finger to take it out also. Or you can use your pencil grip to remove that particular knot to remove it. But we got to be gentle. 1 at a time is what we do. And we complete this entire thing. You open the frame, dressing frame. Now is what you're going to be lacing. Just like how we did 1 instruction at a time before, We're going to be following the same. Okay? You do a crisscross. Now you understood why we are using two colors? It helps the children. Do a crisscross. Now that goes over. See how slow your instructions are. Then the teacher tells, put the white inside and try to make a knot. Okay, to make your instructions simple is where we use two colors. Now you complete the same for rest of the other ones. We're going to put a knot, and now you are teaching the child how to bow it. Okay, so your lacing and bowing will be almost the same. We use two different kinds of frames for both of them. So this is frame bow. Similarly, you would also have a dressing frame lace. It's again a for sure question which comes in every time in your lessons. Okay, so no matter what you're trying to work, it could be buttons or bow and anything. The only purpose of doing this particular exercise is you want the child to become independent. You want the child to acquire coordination of movement. You want to see how the bow is made at the end. Are my ends coming together? Okay, so here is where the child is trying to associate and become a little more independent. Okay, so this is our dressing frame bow. Clear, everyone? So these would be our EPL simple exercises. So in EPL, we can have anything which is related to water, anything that can be related to your dressing, that is also a part of your EPL. Now I can also say, because most of us, we use shoes. Polishing shoes is also something which is very necessary for all of us, right? So polishing polishing shoes also will come under your next activity. Now, much before you use this, many of them will not allow the children to polish the shoes, but you can actually encourage them. So how do? You invite children to come closer and you tell them, children, I have something nice to show to you. So you immediately ask them to put on an apron, and then you bring the children to the table. Okay, and then you bring the shoe polish basket. Now, what all will you keep in your shoe polish basket? You should have a brush. You should have the color polish, correct? You should have a sponge. In case if the child is new to polish and if he's allergic, maybe you can keep some gloves, correct? And if the place, if you don't want it to get dirtied, you can actually have a newspaper or a plastic covered board. Okay, you can also keep that. Now wear an apron to be on a safer side. Okay, so you will keep all your materials ready in your in your shoe polish basket. Now slowly you tell the children, this is how you will sit first, and then you will show him how to polish the shoe. So children should get the hang of holding the shoe. Okay, that is the primary thing that we're going to be teaching. So in your presentation, you will teach them how to unfold the newspaper. Okay, because when you had already kept your newspaper is folded and kept, right? You are teaching them another skill of how to unfold a square cloth or how to unfold a newspaper, which is unfolded. Now you take the you take the shoe, which is flat, you keep it on the newspaper so that the heel of the shoe is close to the body and the toe of the shoe is further away. These are something that you should always take a look through. Now you hold onto the back of the shoe with your, whatever is your dominant hand. My dominant hand is left, so I'm taking that. Okay, then you take up the brush from your right hand and you first brush any dirt off. There are two steps. Polishing is different. Dusting the dirt is different. So in your presentation also, you will be breaking it for children. First would be brushing the dirt off. So what are you teaching here? You're teaching them the small, quick brushing movements. Okay, can I do it at one part of my shoe? No, it has to go for the entire shoe. Because this side should be clean and this side, if it is not brushed properly, that does not happen. So you're going to be working on that. Okay, now you bring the children's attention. Okay, children, see, the dirt is all come off, correct? Now what would you do? You would now take the polish and then you start polishing the shoe. Okay, so this is going to be with a different brush. Now, what did you see in this entire process is how a dirty shoe was shining at the end. Okay, so that is our shoe polishing, wherein you used multiple brushes to help the child to remove the dirt off and to brush with the polish. Now, do I also have a completing activity? Yes, I need to have a completing activity also. So you gently stand up, and whatever is the dust that has been collected along with the newspaper, you take it away and you put it into the bin. That's the first thing. Then you can show children where you can find another clean sheet of newspaper. Okay, the child will have to bring a clean sheet of newspaper, again fold it, keep it in that tray or the basket. Why? Because another child is going to be using it, right? So we have to put that into the shoe basket. And then in case if you use any cloth to sit or the mat to sit, you're going to be rolling that back as well. Keep all the objects back. Okay. And you have to replace it. Okay. Now, in case if your hands are dirty, you go and you still do your hand wash exercise and you complete your exercise. Okay. So why did we do? We wanted our dirty shoes to become polished shoes. Did the child have concentration throughout this process? Yes. Was there an order of how to do? Yes. Was there a sequence of development that the child was getting? Definitely yes. It is not easy, guys, to put the shoe inside and do these movements. This needs a lot of muscular control. You give it to a 3-year-old, they wouldn't be able to do that. When a 3-year-old is able to do that, that means, yes, you have sufficiently given them the muscular control, right? So that would be your shoe polishing. Now, if at all, if I have to be showing you through the demonstration, this is how we're going to be working on. And your preparation of the activities has to be in a very similar way. Okay. So, yes, I'm not using the newspaper right now. So I can, what happened? Okay. So you can set your mat this way. Okay. So you can use any of the polish that you actually have it. If not, multiple brushes, if you have one, and if it's of no dust, you can use one. In case if the shoe is very dirtier, you can use multiple ones. Okay. So a piece of cloth, I would have a bowl. You can have polish, you have a brush and a shiner. Okay. So you begin with this. This is what has been required for the muscular. So earlier we used another brush to dust off, right? Now here we are using a cloth to clean off. Option is up to you. You have multiple brushes, you can do so. If you don't have that, depending on what kind of a polish you actually have it, you're going to be using that polish. Okay. So dip the polish onto the shoe. Circular motions, you can do so. Okay. In case if you're not using the powdered polish, if you're using the liquid one, you definitely have a different kinds. So depending on what polish you actually have, you got to be demonstrating this. All right. So this is again very, very essential because you cannot say children, I will polish your shoes. Okay. The child should be able to polish by themselves. That is because the child is using the shoes every day to their school, and it is the primary thing that they have to be working to become independent. Okay. So your EPL activity, the shoes plays an important role too in making sure that the children are able to work independently. Not only that, what could be my other one? Preparing a snack for myself. I have to eat healthy also, right? The child should know how to peel a fruit, how to scrape it, how to mash it, how to cut them into slices, how to make a salad, how to serve for others, how to remove the seeds from it, how to, discard the waste from the kitchen. All of that is required because it is also essential that we take care of our health and our well-being. You can't be hungry. So give them the usage of all your kitchen tools for the child, especially when it comes down to your healthy choices of making a meal for your own self. Your last activity in your taking care of yourself is about your eating etiquette. Okay. So it's not only about your preparation of the food, whatever you make it, it is also about how well that you can concentrate on serving your plate too. Okay. So are you giving them one piece or are you giving them another one? So involve many things like, peeling, cutting, slicing, dicing, chopping, then smashing, grating. All these can be a part of your preparation activity of the food. And once the child is all ready with this particular thing, you will have a plate full of healthy food, okay? And the child is all good enough. So whenever you're giving them sharper objects like knives and cutters, make sure you are watching the child and the child is doing this activity with the help of you only. Okay? So this will all be a part of your independent activities in your EPL. Okay? So that covers your second part of EPL. Okay? That's taking care of yourself. Can somebody tell me what are the ones that we did for today?
Washing hands,
Washing hands,
Dressing frames,
dressing frames,
shoe
And-
polish,
Dressing suit,
yes.
buttoning and unbuttoning.
Button and
Unbuttoning
laces.
will all come under dressing frames, polishing the shoes, and at
Shoe
last,
polish
we have
basket.
something related to preparation of your.
snacks.
So that covers your second part of taking care of oneself. But if you go on a list, you will still have a lot more exercises. Can you still give me what all can we take care? What all can we take care?
Taking care of their own things, actually. Their bag,
Their
books.
own things. Yes, bags, books. Anything else?
Brushing also.
Huh?
Brushing also.
Brushing the teeth. Yes.
Brush that.
Combing hair.
Combing hair.
Okay.
Yes. Can we write?
How
Can
to
we
open?
Let me also write. Let me also write.
How to open their snack box or lunch box?
How
Open
to
the
open
lid.
that comes in a preliminary. That comes in preliminary.
Oh.
Opening and closing. Combing hair. Yes.
And nail cutting.
Cutting the nails.
Nail.
Yes. Correct.
How to take a
Cutting
bath?
nails. Yes.
Wearing clothes, ma'am. Wearing clothes.
Wearing clothes. Yes.
Yeah.
Dressing frames is all about that, na?
Using lip balms and moisturizer
Oh.
during winter.
Skin hygiene. Yeah.
Yeah.
Skin care. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm saying about washing hair. Then we had even combing, the bathing, then
Nail cutting.
brushing teeth, cutting nails. Yes.
Grooming.
Yes. Grooming. Okay.
Folding clothes.
Folding clothes. Yes. Very essential. Folding clothes. Yes.
So, ma'am, for folding clothes, do we use any frames or we have to use only hands movements for?
Hands. What you can do is like you can make a template and give them.
Okay, okay.
That helps them to work on that. Initially,
But-
it becomes difficult, but you can start with napkins.
Napkins.
Start
Okay.
with napkins. Okay.
Folding
You teach them how to do a mountain fold, how to do a mountain fold
Diagonal,
and a valley
triangle.
fold. And from there, you can begin the other kinds of good folds. Next, snacks. Preparation of snacks.
Drying of clothes from taking the clothes from the machine and drying them.
Very good. Drying clothes. Even washing clothes, I can say. First, let them learn
using
to
the
wash the
How
clothes,
to wearing
washing-
to rinse the clothes, and then to dry the clothes. Very good.
using the clothes pin and putting it on the
Pegging. Pegging the clothes. Yeah.
What about washing the plates, ma'am?
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Washing plates, washing utensils.
Washing utensils.
wearing,
What about
wearing
setting
shoes and
table?
removing shoes.
Setting table.
Table, yeah.
Keep the surroundings
Certain-
clean.
Huh. So what I can do here is like washing utensils and setting table. It's not about themselves, right? It comes under environment. My house has to be neat. So that's the reason I wash my utensils.
That is care of the
Correct.
environment.
That will come under caring of your environment.
Environment.
Correct?
Refilling their
caring,
water
you're
bottle.
caring your environment here. You're caring your
packing their
environment here.
bags.
Refilling their water bottle.
Very
Refilling.
good. Refilling water bottle because you need to be hydrated. Definitely, yes. Refill. Refill water bottle. Okay. See, these are very simple ones, but they all come under this. Making the bed,
Wearing cloth, ma'am. Wearing cloth.
wearing cloth,
Making
yes.
bed.
Dressing I have put, okay.
Brushing.
What about making bed?
Ma'am, I got disconnected, ma'am. Actually, these are all come under what, ma'am?
These will all
The
come
washroom.
under the first one, whatever we are talking here. They all come under taking care, okay. So you are
Okay.
taking care of whom? You're taking care of yourself, correct? So
Okay.
that's
Okay,
oneself.
ma'am.
Now, again, in the second part here, we are taking care of environment. Okay, this is second part. You're taking care of environment. Here we are taking care of oneself. These are two different exercises.
Ma'am, segregating the waste into recycling bin.
That
the
is
bin.
Environment.
Environment. Okay.
Yes. So you
Grooming is
segregate.
also an environment. Grooming.
Dusting
Segregating
the
the
table.
waste.
Dusting and brooming.
Yes,
Mopping.
so dusting, brooming, mopping.
Sweeping.
Okay.
Sweeping.
Sharpening.
So
Sharpening the
dusting,
pencil, ma'am.
sweeping, mopping, raking. If you have
Sharpening.
outdoor,
Waking.
outdoor sweeping, indoor sweeping. If you have a lot of
Okay.
trees,
Outdoor
you're going to
sweeping.
only remove the dried leaf, right? So you rake. You rake the
Arranging
dried leaf,
flowers.
right?
Arranging flowers.
Yes, flowering, arranging flowers. If you have
Gardening.
garden, right, you will take care of your plants. If you have pets, you take care of your pets. Correct? Again, if you have plants, you again going to remove the dry waste of the plant. You cut the dry waste.